Hey, what's going on? It's late February, the last day of, in fact, and we're in Asheville, North Carolina. Gonna give you a little tour of the city. Right now we're on the north slope and we're gonna work our way up toward Pack Square and just show you some of the businesses and the buildings. Obviously there's a lot of nice historical buildings around here because this place is not new to the world. So anyway, we're gonna show you what we can and gonna have a good time. Gonna stop by a few breweries, give you a recommendation at the end. I say a few, maybe a couple, but yeah, just show you what this place is about and have a good time. One thing to know about Asheville, there's lots of restaurants, shops, stuff for tourists. Yeah, pretty much whatever you can think of is here. All kind of folks come in from probably all over the world, definitely from all over the world. Yeah, it's not as busy as it used to be, but you know, there was a big hurricane that came through here, also COVID prior to that. So it's been a little bit of a process. People are starting to come back, but it's definitely not as busy as it used to be, but I don't guess much is. So I just went across Walnut and we've got Strada Italiano, Social Lounge, Asheville Chocolate, Market and Bar, Finkelstein's Loan Office, yep, Pawn Shop, Wasabi Japanese. So like I said, there's a lot going on here with the restaurant scene. Asheville is known as Beer City, USA, so there's a lot of breweries here. Not as many as there used to be, just because there's a little bit of a purge going on in the beer world as economics change. Got Old Europe here on my left. Like I said, there's a lot of historical buildings, so some things may be in a basement, some things may be upstairs, some things are street level, which most things are street level. But it's definitely a very interesting place to visit. And of course, surrounding Asheville, you have the mountains, so there's hiking, rivers, mountain biking, farms. I mean, there's all kind of things to do here with tourism. All right, so Broadway is what we've been on. Should have known that. I'm gonna take a left here and walk over to Pack Square, which is basically a green space. It's got an amphitheater. They have concerts and events and protests from time to time. That's what I like to do here in Asheville. One of the things, at least, the locals like to protest. Got to get exercise somehow, I guess. Yeah, I've been coming here for years and have probably only been to, I don't know, I've been to a lot of different places, but there's so many here, whether it's restaurants or taverns or, I don't know about parks necessarily, but just lots of things to do. Yeah, lots of things to do and see and places to hang out, and you know, hopefully people that you can meet and talk to, get to know some people from here or even somewhere else. All right, so we've gotten over here to Pack Square Park. There's a name here, Roger McGuire Green. I don't know if he's responsible for building this or not, but this is basically it. You see the amphitheater down there, the grass area. I'll have to look into what these two buildings in the backdrop are. I'm sure there's some importance. In fact, I'll just walk over there and see what we can find out. All right, we've got the Buncombe County Courthouse, which Buncombe County is the county that Asheville is located in. There's several other small cities around the area. A little bit of a close-up, but today we're gonna just focus on Asheville. And this one just says City Building of Asheville. So I guess it's just city government on some level. Samuel Ash, which I've got some notes that I'm gonna sit down and read later today. About a page and a half. I don't know, it's pretty interesting. So Asheville was named after the former governor Samuel Ash. Nothing too exciting there, but so yeah, Asheville is basically nestled in the hills of western North Carolina. There's a little bit of a valley that runs down through here, down toward Hendersonville, and you got mountains on either side. I don't know if you can really tell much about this, but there's a lot of hillside homes and apartments, mostly homes up in the hills. You gotta have money, that's for sure. A lot of people are moving here. Yeah, tons of people are moving to the south in general. Yeah, I've walked down off of the, it's kind of on a platform, Pack Square Park. Got Pack's Tavern here behind us. Have to confess, I've never been there. There's the park right there next to it. And we're just going to walk up the hill, show you a little bit more of the architecture, some of these old historical buildings. Asheville Fire Department and Police Department. All right, so we're starting to get into some of the historical architecture. Really nice buildings. They are somewhat hit and miss here, but I think this gives you a pretty good idea of what this little area looks like. And they're all over downtown. You basically have the north slope, which is where I parked right now. Gonna park on the south slope later. Excuse me. Go down to the River Arts District and then across the river over to New Belgium Brewing. Right here outside of the Asheville Art Museum, but which is basically Pack Memorial Library. Another close-up. It's been a little while since I've filmed, kind of rusty I think. I've been staying inside for the most part. It's been cold, it's been a cold winter, as I'm sure if you live in the States you're aware. Yeah, we're going to cross this street right here, and there used to be a monument, and I can't remember exactly what it was. It might have been a Confederate monument, but it is not here anymore. We've got a couple of turkeys and a couple of pigs, or a pig and a piglet anyway. Yeah, the monument used to be right here. I looked at it before, but I just can't recall exactly what it was, but I think Confederate monument was probably correct. We're out here by the noodle shop too, and Asheville is a music city as well. There's always something going on music wise, usually a few. So anyway, here's kind of what kind of the style of Western North Carolina music is. Basically a violin or a fiddle, a guitar or a banjo, maybe even a harmonica. There's some talented folks around here, that's for sure. Not everybody's into that kind of music though, that is also for sure. All right, so as we were walking, we found One World Brewing, which they have a location over in West Asheville. They have a lot of music at that location, but this is in town and it's supposed to be the only underground brewery here. So we're gonna walk in and just take a peek. Got lost, didn't I? All right, that's pretty cool. Yeah, definitely a historic old, you can see brick here and concrete or whatever they put over this. It's not stucco, I don't believe, but anyway, we're gonna get back upstairs and keep walking around town. All right, so speaking of music, I just walked out of One World Brewing, and there are several flyers posted here in a window at a business. So here's basically what's going on at One World. The Orange Peel, that's a music venue, always got music. Yeah, that's One World. I'm not seeing Eulogy, they are also a music venue that always has something going on. Anyway, if you're into music, food, beverages, hanging out, and typically good vibes. Asheville can get a little weird sometimes, but it's a lot better now than it was during and shortly after COVID. It was ridiculous, but I think they realized that without tourism, they're gonna die. So tourism seems to be coming back and is fairly crowded for late February. But the weather's great. It's almost 70 degrees today. Banjo. Let's see. So anyway, we're on Patton Avenue now. This is kind of a main east-west drag. Connects you to the interstate in a roundabout way, I think, and goes over to the east side of town. Spent a lot of time in this area. So yeah, look at this building here, particularly the right along here, or there actually. A lot of concrete work, a rounded corner, if there's really such a thing as that. On the back side of that building I just showed you, and here is it's First Bank now, but it was originally constructed in 1899, renovated as a bank in 1922. So it's been around a minute. Like I said, I've got notes that talk about some of the dates, particularly years that significant things happened in Asheville. All right, so I found a couple of churches. One's right across the street from each other. I don't think they're in competition, but this is Central United Methodist. And then First Presbyterian right here across the street. Yeah, here's one more. It's the Trinity Episcopal Church. And they're all located pretty close to each other. And, you know I mentioned the north slope and the south slope. So Patton Avenue is basically the divider of the two. It's kind of the peak. We've now eased over to part of the south slope, but we're not going to go that way. We're going to go back up toward the north. We're just taking as many side streets as we can, kind of getting a good look at what's here. All right, so this gray building over my shoulder here used to be called the Thirsty Monk. It was a Belgian-inspired brewery and was definitely influential in my journey as a brewer. If you've seen my page, you know I brew. I've been doing it for almost 12 years now. Unfortunately, the Thirsty Monk is no longer here. So much has changed in the last years that I guess they were one of the breweries that didn't make it here. So it's now a bar. They do have a location down south, but it's in Biltmore Village South, or South Biltmore, something like that. It's a modern residential and commercial development. So I guess there's enough customers in that area to keep that going. So across the street here we got a place called the Yacht Club, which I used to sit over here at the Thirsty Monk. Which, by the way, there's a top of the Monk is a cocktail bar that they do have upstairs. It's got a patio that you can sit on, but this used to be the Thirsty Monk's patio right here. And the Yacht Club across the street, they used to always have music, and usually it was a rock show blaring out into the streets. I don't think they're doing that anymore, but I'm not positive. I always wanted to go in there and hang out, but it was so loud. It was sitting there in the Thirsty Monk was all I needed. Here's a public service building, whatever that means, built in 1929. Jack of the Wood right next to it. That's all. I guess that's just a bar, basically, like the Yacht Club. I don't know. I don't typically go to bars. I prefer the vibe of a brewery. They're typically, most of them are family friendly, not all of them, but that's kind of the vibe that I prefer. Just a little more laid back and more about gathering and hanging out than it is anything else, which I guess people do the same thing at a bar. It just depends on what you're interested in. Yeah, so it says above the door there, United States, the 3 doors, Federal Building, Courthouse. All right, so we're gonna start working our way back down the north slope. And yeah, like I said, lots of people hanging out today. Hi. Super nice weather for late February. I hope you're enjoying the same thing weather-wise. Seem to be walking through a little open air market outside of this historic building. We're just gonna keep moving. Carmel's Kitchen and Bar. I think I came here in early 22, maybe Memorial weekend. I don't know. It seems like it was cold. I don't think it was the fall of 21 because this place was locked down, which I guess it could have been, but it was it was weird. But yeah, whenever it was, Carmel's was definitely enjoyable. I'm surprised they made it through that with all the way everything is shut down here. And then again, the Hurricane Helene just was basically another shutdown. Nobody was coming. There was no potable water here for almost 8 weeks. So you know, you can't. There's nothing to cook with, no drinking water except what was hauled in. Just a real disaster. But hopefully the businesses that made it are gonna survive. You definitely run into people playing music on the corners or wherever they are able to set up here, like I said before. All right, so we're turning down Haywood, which Haywood is the county to the west. I'm sure there's something more significant than that, but anyway. A couple of places down here that we've been to before. Chocolate Fetish. They're making amazing chocolate, handmade basically. And also Asheville Beer Garden, back in the late teens, not my teens, but 2017, 18, 2019, used to come down here and watch college football. So if you're into sports, oh, Chocolate Fetish. A couple of buildings here. I don't know what this one is. It almost looks like some residential towers I would not want to find myself living in. And Basilica St. Lawrence is a really beautiful church here, and there's a construction project going on, which seems to be pretty common in my travels. And here is Harrah's Cherokee Center. They have the big casino over in Cherokee, North Carolina, but this is where they also have events here. There's no casino because the casino is on Cherokee land, so they can do that there, but not here in Asheville. All right, walking down Walnut, back over to the main drag. This place is usually happening. Maybe it's a little early in the afternoon. Maybe they open at 5 because it's a Saturday, so I couldn't imagine that they would not be open today. All right, we're coming up on Lexington Avenue, which is another main drag. Lots of shops, but you know what? Maybe we I think I actually walked up Lexington to begin with. Yeah, that's definitely possible. It's either this one or another street. It's easy to get turned around for me anyway. Always got to take a shot of an alley or two, you know that.